AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We try to, on the program, talk with amazing entrepreneurs and introduce and profile them, but also address sort of the issue of the day. And right now, everybody's talking about face masks, which are certainly at the moment mandatory. And my next guest, Matt Marciante, has an amazing company, high-end leather company, and is now making cloth masks for the masses, donating thousands to those in need. Amazing story. And Matt, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start about the company, Marciante and Company. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll get into a little bit about how you've pivoted.
Yeah, so my wife and I started a men's and women's leather footwear company in 2017. Our goal to create a very high-end product on the quality spectrum, but much more reasonable on the price spectrum. And so we came up with a slogan, leather for the people. And that's kind of our approach to the business, cutting out a lot of the middlemen, doing sourcing ourselves and designing ourselves, and then selling directly to the consumer online. We're able to bring down a lot of the, high-end retail costs. And so that's kind of where we started.
Absolutely. And we're going to get back into the story of your company in just a moment, but you have on your website, I saw the story about how you are now making cloth masks for the masses, as we said, donating many. Where did you come up with the idea? And tell us a little bit about sort of how many you have produced thus far.
Yeah, so we have a showroom and workshop here in Dallas, Texas, and we actually cut and sew a lot of our leather goods here locally. And obviously we were, initially not considered an essential business, and so we were forced to kind of close down. And although we could still take orders online, we were not able to fulfill those orders, and cut and sew a lot of the products. A lot of them are made to order. So my wife and I made a decision early on that we were not going to lay off anyone on our team. We didn't want to cut hours or anything like that. And so we tried to get creative. And since we already had, people with sewing expertise, and we already had the sewing machines and equipment to cut the materials and access to the suppliers to provide those materials, my wife actually had the idea first, and she was like, you know what, why wouldn't we make cloth masks? Like it's a pivot. It's a way for us to give back to the community. It's a way for us to keep our doors open and, basically give our employees something to do.
Absolutely. And I know you're putting in, I believe, as many as 16 hours a day in doing this. And you have seen, I know you are very involved in the community. You have been a pastor and youth group leader for several years. So you certainly understand what a lot of folks are going through. So who are the masks reaching? And I'm assuming they're not leather masks. I'm assuming you're trying to produce as many cloth masks as possible. Have you pursued using your traditional materials for masks as well?
We have not approached leather. We thought it would probably be best to leave that one to the side for this instance.
Makes sense.
So we're making 100% cotton cloth masks, and we are selling them on our retail site online. And basically for every one we sell, we are committing to donating 3. And so we have already started sending those to churches here locally in Dallas, and also some in New York and San Francisco, and then Dallas Police Department, several groups there, and then also postal workers and, FedEx and UPS, really anyone that we have interaction with as a company. We want to be a blessing and, help contribute during this time. And I know the masks are kind of a tough resource to come by at times. I know a lot of people have started making the homemade ones. And so, we just thought it would be a great way to give back to those people.
Absolutely. And what a pivot, because when folks go to your website, which of course we'll share with our listeners, they could see high-end footwear, bags, apparel, all sorts of different things, which certainly look very different than the masks, which I know you're churning out. I believe your goal is to churn out as many as 100 an hour, which is incredible. But I'd love to just sort of spend a very brief minute talking about the story of your company. We talked about your community background, but what led you into the world of high-end leather apparel and accessories?
Yeah, I kind of grew up around it. My dad has been in the leather footwear industry for about 30 years. And so he has a lot of connections, a lot of knowledge in that industry. And I've always been, a shoe guy. I grew up playing basketball, so it was kind of a sneakerhead. And my wife is very into fashion as well. And so initially it started as a creative project that we could both work on together. And we wanted to try to attack the industry from a different angle. And like I said, come in with a high quality product at a reasonable price. And so through my dad's, kind of education and then our new school approach to the industry, one thing kind of led to another. And yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. What an incredible story. And again, I want to make sure our listeners know where they could get how they could get on your site. To learn about the incredible community work that you're doing. You have a video posted about the cloth face covers, and that's on your website. But they could also sort of browse your entire catalog with some fantastic merchandise. So, Matt, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can visit our site at leatherforthepeople.com. Leatherforthepeople.com.
Thank you for the incredible work that you're doing. Everybody listening to this program can purchase the cloth mask through Matt's website and know that with each of those purchases, another one is being produced for an incredible good cause. Matt, thank you for all that you are doing and looking forward to following your progress here and Get Down to Business.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be back and Get Down to Business with more tips and advice in just a moment.
Imagine if your most